A life lived for others is a life well lived. That is not me. Greetings, good people. My name is Giordano Pramodana Ladeka, student number 1907-10091. In this video, I would like to explain and discuss about what I know about the artificial intelligence fighter pilot that have actually beaten real pilot in an air combat simulation. This AI-based fighter is also known as Alpha. Now let's talk a little bit more about Alpha as an AI itself. Alpha is an artificial intelligence fighter pilot developed by a US team. Now this AI uses this concept called fuzzy logic, where a computer considers a wide range of options before finally making a decision. Now because of this concept used on Alpha, it's going to produce so much data for interpretation, and it is not always obvious which maneuver is most advantageous or what point a weapon should be fired. Fuzzy logic systems can weigh up the significance of these individual pieces of data before making a broader decision. To simplify it, we can imagine it functioning just like a very challenging chess computer, where before making the next move, it will think about many different possibilities and route it could take, so they could always counteract the player's next move. So the next topic I want to discuss is what differentiate Alpha from something like an autopilot on a plane, because well, they're basically s- mo- same thing, right? Well, the first difference is that fuzzy logic that I've explained before, and the other difference is the fact that Alpha have actually won against a retired US Air Force colonel in a combat simulation. The researchers that helped develop Alpha wrote, not only could he not score a kill against it, he was shot out of the air by the rats every time after protracted engagements. Now these statements tell us that not only Alpha have defeated the retired colonel, the veteran of the air combat. No. The veteran didn't stand a chance against Alpha. That result alone could have shown us that it is very possible to create an air force consist of AI fighter pilots. Alright, now that I've explained how, what is Alpha as an AI and how it works, now I'm gonna answer some questions from the discussion on the, on the group class file, I don't know. First of all, what is the main characteristic of Alpha? Well, I think I've explained it. It's an AI, it's a fighter pilot AI that uses fuzzy logic, which works just like, how how a very hard chess computer could predict, the player's next movement. Yeah, that's basically how Alpha works. Yeah. How do you explain the concept of fuzzy logic with your own words to the ordinary people? Again, I think I've explained it pretty well. It's like how a very hard computer chess could predict you know, the player's next movement, and from it they're gonna move, and they've already made all of those different possibilities before they're making the next move. Yeah, I think that's the easiest way I can explain how Alpha works, how fuzzy logic works for normal people. What is your impression to Alpha? What are its positive roles to human? Explain your opinion. Well, my first impression, it's pretty cool. I mean, I'm gonna be honest here, alright? The fact that an AI could actually beat a veteran, a US veteran, on an air combat simulation is very impressive. Like, just yeah, that the fact that that's actually possible is already pretty impressive on itself. Meanwhile, what are its positive roles to human? I'm gonna explain this later on the conclusion part, so I'm not gonna get into it. But yeah, I think, but I do believe there are some positives toward employing Alpha on the real world. What are the weaknesses of this technology product? Explain them. Well, again, this is gonna be on the conclusion as well, so hey, be ready for it. Barry stated, if such a system were ever used in a live setting and decided to attack a non-military target, the results could be dire. He said, the public furor about that would be immense. What does he mean? Explain it in your own words and try to give examples. Well, so I'm gonna say this line again on the conclusion part, but I'm just gonna explain it and answer the discussion question. So there's a huge fear that if we actually employ alpha in the battlefield, the military battlefield, the war zone, there's a chance that alpha could actually attack a non-military target and create havoc and dire situation. Like maybe it could detect like a random plane on the radar, and then there's like so many passengers on the plane that's not even that they don't have anything to do with the war, but they just got shot because of like system error on alpha or something. Yeah, and that would be so bad, right? Because you know it will literally kill people, a lot of people potentially. And obviously by if they actually shoot down a plane that the non-military plane that's innocent, the public would be mad. They will be mad because like there's gonna be a lot of a lot of families or a lot of relatives that probably mourn to their loss of because of this stupid plane accident that happened because of you know an error on the AI system. Like yeah, I think that's the best example I can give you. You know, Alpha could Alpha could potentially shoot down an airplane that carries a lot of people, innocent people on them. So yeah. Discuss the potential problem caused by alpha. Why so? Explain your thought. Well, obviously it's an AI, so there's always gonna be the fear that AI is gonna replace human, like it has already happened in a lot of places, a lot of jobs. Yeah, I think that's the worst fear that the pilot could have. Both the military pilot and probably the educational pilot, or maybe even just the normal pilot that flew their plane from one city to another or from one country to another. Because I mean, autopilot is a thing already, but if you have an AI that is actually good enough to beat a US veteran on an air combat simulation, like I think that's a whole other level of AI technology than autopilot, right? So yeah. Alright, I think that's enough for the discussion question. So, moving on to the next topic. What would happen if the Indonesian Air Force employs Alpha as part of their pilot fighters? Well, just like most things in life, there's gotta be advantage and also disadvantage. The advantage is, well, it's pretty obvious, I think. Um, it's an AI fighter, so no human have to risk their life battling on the war zone, on the battlefield. And there's actually quality control because unlike humans where their performance are, I won't say it's completely based on what I'm gonna say, but most of their performance are based on their experience and also their mentality when they are on the battlefield. Now, AI only need to be programmed to do their job. That's why there's quality control in it. Meanwhile, the disadvantage of employing alpha in the battlefield are, unlike humans, it will get more complicated because the researchers have stated that it might not be easy to translate the system to real-world combat environments. There's a chance that it might, attack a non-military target or perhaps their own allies on the battlefield. Like, there's just too much risk on using it on a real battlefield. Finally, the question we've all been waiting for. Should the Indonesian government employ Alpha? I think yes. But there's a catch. I think Alpha shouldn't be employed as a real soldier that we send to the battlefield, but more as a simulation tool or perhaps a device to help develop better systems for assisting humans pilots in the air. Like for example, we can use them to, simulate the correct path for a certain airplane route, or maybe we can use them to show the pilot trainees the right way to maybe land your airplane. Like there's just so many potential to use alpha besides for the purpose of, well, war. War is bad. I mean, yeah, but they do need it to defend their country. So yeah. So in conclusion, I think that Alpha is a pretty good and potentially useful AI that, if implemented well, it could really help the Indonesian Air Force on the education role. Education is pretty important. Well, alright, I think that's all from me. But before that, I would like to say thank you, especially to Miss Bening for all this time, for half a semester. Even though, well, we probably met because of unfortunate things, but you know, thank you for being there for us, for actually ready to teach us when when that unfortunate thing happened. And I hope we could see each other in the next semester to come, but not on this, but not on the same class, obviously. Alright, once again, thank you so much for taking your time to see this video. I'm Giordano, also known as Dano, and yeah, I'll see you perhaps later. Goodbye.